This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by Netflix. Welcome back to another episode of Rettinger's Rants. This is the show where I rant and rave and talk about anything in the world of technology. Some weeks when it comes to Rettinger's Rants, I really gotta think about a good topic to share with you guys. This week though, it was a no freaking brainer. Let's talk PS4 and Sony's 3-hour press conference. So we've been hearing rumors of the PS4 pretty much ever since the PS3 initially launched, and obviously they get crazy when our geek imaginations run wild. They run crazy wild. We are hearing things ranging initially from holograms to using some crazy multi-core unique processor just for Sony, and we finally got the press conference invites to PS4. We were jazzed. We knew it was going to be a long one. We were expecting 2 or 3 hours of product demonstrations, spec talk, and everything the PS4 was going to be able to do. What we ended up getting was about 15 minutes of information and about 2 hours and 30 minutes of just stupid game demos. Not even real game demos. Hypothetical fake demos that were clearly running off of a PC. Not even in-game playing, just stock footage what the PS4 was hypothetically capable of. It was probably the worst run press conference I have ever seen. So why in the world would Sony hold a press conference, not announce price, not show the console, not talk about 4K when they're one of the huge pioneers trying to push 4K? All they said was, it's a PS4, it's going to be coming come the holidays, and we no longer have a custom chipset for it. We're now using x86 architecture, which, okay, I get it. It's making it much easier for PC developers to port their games to the PS4. We saw Blizzard up on stage talking about Diablo. Totally understand that, but now what's different versus the PS4 versus just getting a regular PC and plugging it in? I found it shocking that Sony very rarely talked about new features in the PS4. They mentioned things like being able to play downloaded games immediately, being able to webcast and let friends take over the console, but really nothing else outside of that. And it was absolutely mind-boggling. So why in the heck would they have this conference? Well, I think they wanted to get developer consoles in the hands of more developers as quickly as possible, and they were probably worried about leaks. We had seen the controller leak before, the DualShock 4 with a little touchpad in there. But what it seems right now is that Microsoft is at least hypothetically poised to control the mindshare for the next generation of games. So imagine this, if you will, regardless of whether or not you're an Xbox fan, a PlayStation fan, a Nintendo fan, or just a fan of gaming. Imagine this. You're looking to get a gaming console this holiday season, not sure if you want whatever the next generation Xbox is going to be, or a PS4. You saw Sony come up on stage and not really show very much. And then you see Microsoft come E3 time or a little bit before, reveal all the specs of their console, talk about what it can do, talk about Connect 2, show the console, show pricing. You're going to have a bit more confidence in what Microsoft is going to be able to do. Microsoft has long taken that sort of PC approach and used PC architecture and PC chips with their consoles, and now Sony is following suit to what Microsoft has done. Microsoft is totally poised to dominate this next generation of consoles if they can just do it right. If they hold their conference and they show the features, if they come out with a fair price, they put in Blu-ray support with next-generation downloadable abilities, I think they can absolutely crush Sony. And what we might be looking at, unfortunately, with the PS4 might be the last PlayStation we ever see. Sony as a company has really been hurting the past few years, not just the gaming division or Sony Entertainments, which are sort of separated different companies, but all of Sony as a whole has really been hurting. They're estimating they're putting into close to $1 billion of R&D into the PS4. If they end up writing a big portion of that off, and they're not reimbursed for the cost of it, and they're not making it back over the course of a console, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a PS5. So obviously Sony's going to announce more as we get to E3. They'll show new features. They'll show what the PS4 can do. I love playing games. I don't get a chance to play as much as I'd like. I've always thought that the PlayStation was a better value for the gaming money. You always had the next generation Blu-ray player that was always going to be supported with new firmware updates. You got a ton of streaming options, just was a better value. That being said, I always gamed on an Xbox 360 because I preferred the controller. And I'm not so sure that's going to change all that much this next generation of consoles. So what do you guys think? Do you agree? Am I way off base? Does Sony have a bright future? Were you super excited with what they showed at the press conference? Or did you find it absolutely as boring as we did? And we were there at the press conference. Our gaming editor, Joey Davidson, was sitting there. And the overall feeling around there was, what the heck is Sony doing? Am I way off base? I want to hear your comments. and tell me what you think. So let me step aside from my gaming rants for just a minute to thank our friends and sponsors at Netflix. You know Netflix, it's one of the best ways to stream TV shows and movies directly to your television or through your television via your game console, whether it's an Xbox 360, a PS3, Nintendo Wii, or Nintendo Wii U. You can get movies, TV shows, and now original content. If you want to try Netflix, which you should have already been doing, go to netflix.com/buffalo and get your free 30-day trial. Again, netflix.com/buffalo. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Rettinger's Rants. I'm your host, John Rettinger. Be sure to check out technobuffalo.com for the latest and greatest tech news, and I will see you in the next video.